Thank you so much, Bob, for sharing a few words. I think, as Rob said, it's something that we really all should care about because either our daughters are pursuing degrees in STEM or we're working with other women, and these are all things that are going to help us achieve more productivity in the workforce and a more diverse outlook, and it's something that we should all really care about. And so that's why we're really excited to be partnering with more people in the Abu Dhabi community. So thank you so much for becoming a friend of our cause. So tonight, I would like to continue kind of the idea of a lot of the mixers that we've been having is to start to define how we view women in STEM in Abu Dhabi, not just in the NYUAD, but in the community. And so throughout a lot of these mixers, we'll have students share their thoughts on what it means to be a woman in STEM to them. So tonight, I'd like to take the chance to kind of reflect on my own experience in STEM. Because I am a computer scientist, and I would like to say why I came to believe why it's so important to have more diversity in technology. So I think there's a gap in reflecting on many kinds of diversity in technology fields, but women in STEM are probably one of the greatest. During our last mixer, Francesco Arnaldo, our Associate Dean of Science, posed us with a really good question. What can we do to better involve women in STEM? And so tonight, I would like to try and address this with a few of my own experiences and views that weSTEM has as well. So I am a computer scientist. However, my freshman year, when I would tell this to people, they would say, "Really? You don't look like one. I never would have guessed that you were a woman computer scientist." And I was like, I didn't really realize what this meant, but I soon became to realize that it was because I was a girl, and this is somehow atypical. But just like the other boys, I played with Windows 95 and bought the technology like they did when they were little, and I am a computer scientist as well. My friends also sometimes ask, when are you going to switch majors? Like, this isn't your personality. And I began to seriously question my studies as a result of always having to justify myself. I came to realize that even throughout all the hard classes, my CSO long maths, I was on a mission. I was on a mission to help other women in STEM become women computer scientists and take some of the leading roles in the world. Because today's technology giants have accumulated great power with little regulations on their reach. More than 1 billion people use Facebook every day. That's 1/4 of all time spent on the internet. And Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, has 60% of the voting rights. This gives him the final say in almost all the decisions Facebook makes. That means he can decide on the content people see, what news is allowed, what data privacy means, and even unwillingly decide the fate of our elections. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, has the power to decide whether the CIA has access to all of your most intimate personal information in your iPhone. Larry Page, one of the co-founders of Google, has more data about citizens than anyone in history. So, with all this power, despite the widespread use of technology in our lives, an increasingly small group of people make important decisions in the tech world. These companies have more power than most governments, are less regulated, and have no obligations to serve everybody equally. So that's part of the reason that I want to be in STEM. The top tech companies are impacting billions of people every day, yet the people behind these decisions represent a homogeneous demographic. At Google, only 17% of all employees are women, and only 1% are Black and 2% are Hispanic in the US. The stereotypical software engineer is a wealthy white or Asian male, and I, as a woman computer scientist, represent a minority, and I believe this is dangerous. What will the world look like if enormous design decisions and technological innovation is led by a homogeneous group? A world where elderly and disabled are left behind because they don't fit the cookie cutter of the engineer that built the iPhone. Where the software engineer doesn't think about the racial bias he is training into his artificial intelligence that will ultimately be used to decide court cases. There's a growing divide between those who use and those who create technology. And this will lead to a new kind of inequality that we need to address. That is why I believe there needs to be more women in technology to represent the needs of half our world. And many companies recognize this fact. Companies want to hire people with varied perspectives because this raises productivity. As McKinsey Institute Global says, better female participation can add $12 trillion to the global growth. That's massive. But here, I would like to take a turn and address Francisca's question about what can we do to involve more women in technology. Because I think we're all here today with the assumption that we all believe more women should be in technology and STEM in general. But what I believe the fundamental keys to involving more women in technology is education. There's a small group of people that are exposed to computer science before college, and minority groups tend to miss out on this education. For 8 months this year, I taught programming classes to refugees, to women in Berlin, in hopes of reversing tech inequality in a rapidly growing tech city. The goal was to help new students integrate into the city and elevate and empower them in their careers. Mohammed Sayomi, a college graduate from Syria, and I were having coffee one day. His mentor had mentioned that he was feeling depressed because not only was he in a new place, but he felt unsuccessful because his family had sacrificed so much for him to be here, and now he was just struggling in coding programming classes. I encouraged him to keep up with the programming class and pour all of his effort into that, and that with hard work, something would come out of it. Now, Mohammed and I are working on a software development project that is now wrapping up to help other refugees settle in Berlin. And he is interviewing with tech companies, and he will hopefully start on a job with a specific company next year. So, by the end of the class, 7 out of the 40 students that I taught had internships or jobs lined up in technology fields. Now, these students from diverse backgrounds, and both male and female, will go on to get jobs in Silicon Valley and provide new opinions and perspectives in product development that affect all of our lives. As a woman in computer science in the UAE, I'm particularly interested in what we can do to create a stronger presence of women in STEM locally in Abu Dhabi. I've been here for 3 years, and part of the reason I like it here is because it's changing so fast. There is so little precedent in the city. This is particularly exciting for the cause of weSTEM, because that's an opportunity to move that change in our benefit, to create more acceptance of women in STEM here in Abu Dhabi. The UAE already has more Emirati women opting for STEM careers, according to the Emirates Foundation. 56% of the UAE's federal university graduates in STEM are women. 56. In the US, around 20% of college graduates are in computer science are women. So this is already amazing. And in the UAE, we are fortunate to have female role models who are breaking boundaries, celebrated by the press and society. This includes Miriam Al-Mansouri, UAE's first female fighter pilot, or Aisha Al-Markouzi, the country's first female crane operator at Al Khalifa Ports in Abu Dhabi. That's really exciting, and something to celebrate as people living in the community of Abu Dhabi. And I think we should capitalize on this movement and hold people accountable for the praise that they give these inspiring women, and empower women of all ethnic origins to be able to become world-class technologists in the UAE. We need to create an environment to create an expectation that women are as good as any other person in science or elsewhere. Expectancy value is a theory developed by scholars Essels and Wingfield that argues choice, persistence, and achievement in a particular activity can be explained by a student's belief in their own ability. So this means something as small as the expectation that a woman is going to do great things with computer science or any other STEM field can inspire a woman to continue to study STEM-related fields. So this means that we need to involve youth in STEM in unconventional ways and create an environment that expresses that. That's why this week, weSTEM is holding a workshop for third grade girls and boys to teach them the basics of electronics through little bits. And this is not only a girls' workshop, this is not a girls-only workshop by design, because we want to help not only get girls excited about STEM, but create an environment in which they're accepted, and that means involving guys as well. And so that's why we have the guys from our hackathon team here with us tonight, and all the other men that are here, because this isn't just about the girls in STEM, it's about everybody here. And it's about creating an environment and a strong community that will support every one of us in our efforts, whether that means you're a female or male, or from a different ethnic origin, or any other kind of diversity. The identity of a woman in science is incredibly important as well. Scholars Brooke and Potter develops their identity construct as students' understanding of herself in relation to both her past and potential future. And they develop the concept that students have an idea of what it means to be, what a woman in science looks like. And that idea of what a woman in science looks like can affect what they study. So by changing the idea of what a woman in science looks like to young individuals and young high school students, we can impact the number of students studying computer science and other STEM fields drastically. So the only reason I studied computer science is because I had a high school teacher who taught computer science in my high school that was amazing. He gave life lessons every week. He had a really strong vision for the future, and he communicated that to his students. And I thought he was an amazing person, and so that, to me, that's what computer scientists look like. It doesn't mean that we have to change all of society's perception of a computer scientist. We just have to change one at a time. To high school girls, to people in 3rd grade, you can have amazing effects just by one interaction. Yana was telling me that she studied computer science just because one person talked to her. One person. So each of us in this room can be that one person to talk to a younger girl, to talk to a 3rd grader that has aspirations of being a scientist. And so that's why mentorship is such a key part of what weSTEM does, is we want to help inspire younger people and also people in professional fields to be more inclusive and create a better community for women in STEM. So our mentorship will be the 2nd year of our mentorship program will be starting next semester, but we also do mentorship in more subtle ways by a lot of the events that we do, such as we host workshops for girls in high school. We hosted one a couple of weeks ago that taught the basics of some graphics and computer science. And we hold a girls' high school conference, in which we have speakers from the community, and then also our own girls teaching high schoolers that this is what a computer scientist looks like. I am what a computer scientist looks like. Mama is what a computer scientist looks like. And so that to us is really exciting. But also it means these events that we are having now. It means that we're all coming together and showing support for each other and creating a strong community of STEM. Not just women in STEM and not just males in STEM, but us together as STEM. So thank you so much for all taking the time to come here tonight. I know there's a lot going on as we come to the end of the year, but I'm really excited that so many people came. So now I would like for you all to turn to the person next to you and ask them about their experience in STEM, or their experience in the workforce, or their experience as a student studying computer science. And also there's food in the back if you'd like some.